Have you seen those winning sports betting tickets on social media and you thought to yourself, hey, I want to make some of that money too. I need to learn how to do that. Or are you a newbie, still kind of new to sports betting, and every time you open up your sports betting app, the new jargon and numbers and all these symbols still kind of have you a little bit confused? If so, then this is the video for you. Let's go. What's up, everybody? Welcome to Dominate the Books. I'm your host, Keith, and this is Sports Betting 101. Now, what you currently have on the screen there is just what is this? We have the different sports books that you can bet with based on what's located in your state, but we'll get to that in a second. In order to sports bet, the first thing that you want to do is make sure that you're of legal sports betting age in the United States, and that is 21. And also make sure that your state allows sports betting. You still got about 12 or 13 states, I believe, that sports betting is not set up in yet. Books haven't went live in, probably because of some, local laws or whatever they have going on in those particular states. But you can find that out with a quick Google search whether or not your state is legalized to bet. Once you do that, you go ahead and just download one of these sports books that you have here listed in the screenshot. So the two that's most commonly used are the two in the middle here. Though my cursor is going around. The one in blue is the one that's used the most, FanDuel. And I'm sure if you watch TV, you see these commercials everywhere, or you're watching the game, you might see this posted in the background, like if you're watching baseball. Um, they have it on the stadium walls, either behind the batter or out in the outfield. Same thing with DraftKings. This is usually there's a lot of commercials running with this. I believe there's a commercial right now with LeBron and Kevin Hart. Pretty funny commercial they have, and they're advertising DraftKings. But these commercials are everywhere now. So these are the two most common that's used, in my opinion. They're the two most user friendly apps, especially if you're new. These are probably the two that you want to go with. But other options and other books that I use is this one here, BetMGM. These are the commercials that you see with Jamie Foxx. Then this little trophy, or actually, this is a little cup like the Romans used to drink, Caesars. And I'm sure you see this commercial. You've probably seen, was it JB Smooth in these commercials with Caesars. Then also use this one here, Bet 365, Fanatics, Typical. Actually, I was using them for a minute, but they went out of business. I'm not sure what happened there with them, but like I said, you can just go. Oh, Bet Rivers, I use this one as well. But you can just go ahead and do a quick Google search, and it'll tell you which books are live in your state. All right, so I'm just going to go over five basic um, ways you can bet and kind of explain what everything means. Just the basic stuff to kind of just get you going as a new sports bettor. So the first thing we're going to look at is what's called the money line. And that's the middle column here that we're looking at between this game between the Buccaneers and the Atlanta Falcons. So the money line is just the most common way to bet. It's just like if you bet your friend, hey, I bet you $20 that Tampa Bay is going to beat Atlanta this week. It's the same thing. You're betting that Team A is going to beat Team B. All you have to do is pick who's going to win. Now, these numbers here in the middle, they play a factor in how much you win based on who you bet on. Now, anytime you see a minus, that means that that team is the favorite to win. So this is the team, Atlanta, that the sports book has determined is most likely to win this bet, or excuse me, win this game. And then anytime you see a plus, that indicates that that particular team, in this case, which is Tampa Bay, is the underdog. So this is the team that the sports book has determined is less likely to win this game. So minus is the favorite, plus is the underdog. Now, the numbers next to the minus and the plus, uh, this determines how much that you have to bet in order to win whatever amount that you're looking to win. So in this case, Atlanta is favored minus 130. So that just basically means you have to bet $130 to win $100. So you have to bet more to win less because this team is the favorite. Now the inverse of that is Tampa Bay is the underdog, so they're less likely to win. So they're plus 110. So if you bet $100, you'll win $210. You'll win an additional $110. So plus 110. So the total payout would be $210 if you were to win this bet. All right. So again, that's minus is the favorite, plus is the underdog. You bet 130 to win 100 if you're going to bet on the favorite. You bet 100 to win 110 if you take the underdog. So that's the money line. Again, this column here in the middle, plus minus, and the wager amounts if you bet on the money line. The next bet is the spread bet. This is this column right here to the left. So the spread bet is just basically a bet against the margin of victory. So in this column here, or this particular game, it shows that, again, the minus Atlanta is minus 1.5 point favorite in this game. So basically, what that's saying is the sports book is saying that if you take Atlanta on the spread, that they have to win by more than 1.5 points. So they have to win by at least 2 points in order for you to win this bet. Now, the opposite of that is if you take Tampa Bay, they're plus 1.5. So if you bet on Tampa on the spread, they can still lose the game, but as long as they don't lose by more than 2 points, you still win the bet. Now, I know it's a little confusing here, especially if you're new with the plus and minus, with the 1.5. I wish it was just like an even number, like a 3 or 2. But even if this was -3, Atlanta would have to win by more than 3 points for you to win this bet. So if there was a -3, if the final score of the game was 30-26, you won by more than 3 points. So you win that bet. Same with this. If this was a +3 and the final score was Atlanta won the game 26-24, you're still in that margin of victory that you need to win the bet. So they didn't win by more than 3 points. So if you took Tampa +3, you still win the bet. Okay. So the next one that we're going to look at is the last column right here on the right. And this is the total or the over under. So when you're betting on the total or the over under, you're just simply betting who do you think, or excuse me, both teams combined. Do you think the number at the final score is it going to be over this number or under this number? Same thing in basketball, baseball, soccer, hockey, whatever you bet on. If this number was over 45 and under 45, both teams combined, if you bet the over, you would have to win. The score would have to be over 45 points to win the bet. So if it's 46, you win. If it's 44, you lose. Same with this. Let's say if this was under 45 and you bet the under, anything under 45 points, 44 and under, you win. Anything over 45, you lose. Okay. So that's the over under. That's pretty straightforward. Now, another thing that's pretty straightforward is a straight bet or a player prop bet. So in this example here, we're looking at Baker Mayfield and Kirk Cousins. So these are the quarterbacks for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the Atlanta Falcons. So just like with the over unders on the total score of the game, it's the same thing when you're betting specifically on a player prop. So this works the same way in basketball or baseball or hockey. Say if you're betting basketball and you're betting on a LeBron player prop and it's for him to score 30 points, that's the number. You're either going to say he's going to score over more or under less than 30 points. Same thing here. So if you were to take Kirk Cousins passing yards over 226 and a half, and notice they got that half here, just like in the last example with the spread. So this means he would have to go over this number. So if he has 227 yards, you win. If he has 226 or less, you lose. So even though he would get 226, they still have that half there. So we call this the hook. You can get hooked on that. If he only gets 226, you would still lose the bet. Same thing here with Baker Mayfield. If he has over 236 and a half, you win. So if it was 237, you win that bet. If he gets 236, you lose. Okay. And then last but not least, and this is the same thing here with these receiving props with the wide receiver. Same thing with the running backs, over under on the player props. And then the final one, last but not least, is everybody's favorite, and it's probably those bets that you see posted on social media that I was referring to. Everybody's favorite, the parlay. Now, the parlay, turn this down, isn't probably the best bet you want to do, but it's the funnest bet. You know, it's where you can take a little bit of money and you can turn it into a lot of money, just depending on um, how many legs or how many more bets that you add inside the total bet. You can turn it, like I said, a little bit of money into a lot of money. So in this example here, just starting off, we have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. We took them on the money line, and we also took Baker Mayfield's passing yards over 236. So you see here, this is a two-leg same game parlay. Anytime that you add on additional legs to your parlays or any additional bets inside this total wager, you increase the odds. So the odds go higher, you can win more, but it's a less likely chance you're going to win that bet because the way the parlay works, if you have five legs in your parlay, all five legs of those bets need to hit in order for you to win the entire bet. So in this example here, in order for us to win this bet, Tampa Bay would have to win the game on the money line, and Baker Mayfield would have to pass over 236 and a half yards. So even if Tampa Bay won the game, but Baker went under 236 and a half, you lose. Or if Baker went over 236 and a half and Tampa Bay lost the game, you lose. So the odds on this particular two-leg parlay is a plus 231. So I just typed in here a little example. So if you were to bet $10 on this, you would win $23.16. In this next example, this is a three-leg parlay. So we still got Tampa on the money line, Baker going over 236 and a half yards, and Mike Evans, his wide receiver, to have over 58 and a half yards receiving. Now you see what happened? We added on a leg. Now the odds went to a plus 381. So that same $10 would now turn into $38.12. But again, like I said, everything has to hit. Tampa has to win. Baker has to go over. So does Mike Evans. Now, if we add on an additional line, and I'm just showing you this because once you get into sports betting, this is kind of how it goes. You're like, okay, I like that. Hey, I think Tampa will win. I think Baker will go over. I think Mike Evans can go over 58 yards. But let's look at his other wide receiver, Chris Godwin. I think he can go over. He can get at least 65 yards. Yeah, he can do that. Now you add on this additional leg. Now all of a sudden your odds go up even higher. Now we're at plus 707. This is a 4-leg same game parlay now. So that same $10 that back here on the 2-legger was $23.16. On the 3-legger was $38.12. On the 4-leg parlay, we can now turn our $10 into $70.75. So we're $10 plus 707 odds. Our winnings will be $70.75. But again, Tampa has to win. Baker has to go over. Mike Evans has to go over. Chris Godwin has to go over as well. And then if we stretched it out even more, we went to a 5-leg same game parlay. The odds went up to 1,235, so plus 1,235. Now that same $10 that we were betting is $123.57 if we win. But we added on another player. Now we took his running back, Rachaad White, to go over 32 and a half yards. So now we need everything to hit. So again, if the parlay 4 out of these can hit, but if the running back goes under, you lose the entire bet. So Tampa on the money line, Baker over, Mike Evans over, Chris Godwin over, Rachaad White over. $10 would get us $123.57. $20 with that same bet would get you $247.14. So you're doubling your wager, you're doubling the amount that you will win. Even if you went up to $50, 50 gets you 617.85, 100, 1235.70. So that's the thing with a parlay. You can turn a little bit of money into a lot of money, but there's more risk. So again, each leg would have to win inside of that bet for you to win the entire wager. Now, that's the fun of it. When you sit in front of your TV, you're sweating out. You're like, yeah, okay. So Baker went over, Godwin's went over, Mike Evans went over. I still need 10 yards from Rachaad White, and then we still need Tampa to win this game. Or you got all the players to hit the thing, but you're like, I need Tampa to win this game. That's kind of the fun in it, but like I said, it's more of a risk. But those are the basics to getting started on sports betting. If you guys have any additional questions or comment, I'm still a small channel, so leave them down below, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can, and I'll answer the questions as best as I can, or just try to clarify whatever is in this video that maybe you're still a little confused on. But like I said, any questions, comments, whatever you got, leave them in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Check out my next video. Appreciate you tuning in. Peace.